Earlier this summer, I made this video talking about how the Dallas Cowboys have messed up just about every good situation they've had over the last 2 decades. And this is another example of the Cowboys doing that yet again. The Dallas Cowboys have officially parted ways with superstar edge rusher MICAH Parsons, a guy that they were lucky enough to get outside of the top 10 in the draft just a few years ago. Immediately became one of, if not the best player on the team. At the end of the day, it came down to Jerry Jones not wanting to extend another player that was worth the money. Obviously, MICAH Parsons was going to leave Dallas anyway after that tweet a few weeks ago where he explicitly said he didn't want to be in Dallas anymore. It was really over with. The Cowboys did end up offering him $40+ million, and he obviously declined. Some people are arguing that MICAH Parsons didn't deserve this price tag with the Cowboys, but it goes beyond just that. If the Cowboys had went about negotiations in a better way, talking to MICAH and being like, we want you back on the team for sure, we're going to pay you what it takes, I think potentially he accepts that $40 million. But that tweet he sent out a couple weeks ago that I'm still referencing because it's the last time we really explicitly talked about the Cowboys and re-signing, it felt like it was more than just the money. The team just mishandling him, the fact that they really aren't going to be competing for a Super Bowl even with a guy like him, a generational talent on the team. All these factors came together, and at the end of the day, Jerry Jones is the guy to blame regardless. And going back to the trade itself, the Cowboys got an aging defensive tackle in Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. Originally, I thought this was a solid package for the Cowboys. We got to take into account that Kenny Clark hasn't been at his peak in multiple years now. He's entering his 30s. There's probably not many good years left in him. And even with the years that he does have left as a really good starter in the league, the Cowboys aren't going to be competing for a Super Bowl with this core. The defense without MICAH Parsons, it went from a bottom 15, bottom 10 unit to probably one of the worst units in the NFL. That's how much MICAH really means to this team. You saw it last year when he was injured, really the first season that he was dealing with injury to the extent that he was missing games, and the Cowboys defense struggled immensely. Even with guys stepping up, it didn't matter because Parsons was just that big for the defense. And then you think about the 2 first-round picks. The Packers are going to be amazing the next few years. So these picks are going to be picks in the 20s or maybe even 30s, which obviously aren't useless. Those players could still end up being really good. But an aging player and late first-round picks for MICAH Parsons does not cut it, in my opinion, as a package. You could argue that Parsons had the leverage, and so did the Packers in this negotiation. I think there was certainly a way where Jerry Jones could have gotten more out of MICAH Parsons. And Jerry Jones undervalued MICAH Parsons in just about every way imaginable. Undervalued him in terms of the trade package, undervalued what he meant to the city, undervalued what he meant for the team, and undervalued him in terms of paying him. And if the Cowboys had a plan with this whole thing, like trading him for some better players, or trying to get younger, or starting a rebuild, this would make a lot more sense. But they have huge amounts of money tied up into Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, who are going to stay for the next couple years regardless. Why wouldn't you want to keep MICAH Parsons to try to stay in that win-now mode? Even though most fans realize that the Cowboys can't win with this core, even with MICAH Parsons, why wouldn't you stay committed to that same approach? You can't go halfway in and halfway out where you're not all in, but you're not tanking. That type of mediocrity is really just what's been detrimental for the Cowboys over the last few decades and why fans can't stand the team. I talked about this more in that video I made in June regarding the Cowboys. The problem is that they're in no man's land all the time. As much as I've been hating on this core that they have right now, they're never going to end up with a bottom 5 pick unless the team gets seriously injured. And even last year where the whole team was completely banged up, they didn't even get a top 10 pick. If you're not going to go all in on winning, there's really no point in staying in this no man's land where you have money tied up into players that arguably don't even deserve it. And you end up trading the guy that not only deserves it, but is probably the best player on your team. And part of the reason that the defense has any hope at all to do anything and make any kind of noise in the regular season or the playoffs. It makes absolutely no sense. If the Cowboys ended up not paying Dak Prescott a couple seasons ago and not trading for George Pickens, going about free agency a little differently, maybe handling CeeDee Lamb's situation differently a couple years ago, then trading MICAH Parsons for a better package than what they got would have made a lot more sense. The problem is, the team just does not know what they're doing. There's no plan. There's no structure. It's Jerry Jones doing whatever he wants. I'm sure a lot of the players didn't like this, a lot of the coaches. I'm sure everybody's just about fed up with that team, especially internally in the organization. They could have went about this so much better a few years ago, not paying Dak if they wanted to start this rebuild. But now, once again, they're stuck in mediocrity. They haven't learned their lesson. The Romo era was mediocre with years of up and down play. The Dak Prescott era looks very much similar, and they are not going to be getting another defensive talent like Micah Parsons. And somehow, in a few days, I guarantee Jerry Jones is going to come on to the media and say something along the lines of, we're still contenders. We are not in a rebuild. We think we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. When it just makes no sense and everybody can see through the lies. So, as much as people are mad about the actual trade of Micah Parsons, I am very mad at that as well. I think that absolutely shouldn't have happened. The real problem for me is just the way that this organization is ran, and this Micah Parsons trade is absolutely a testimony to what has been a problem for this team for so many years. But the season is starting in a week, so on a more positive note, I'm excited. As a Cowboys fan, we'll see what this team has to offer. I'm still excited about the offense. I think at the least they'll be interesting. They probably won't be winning too many games because the defense is so bad. But I'm still excited. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you're also a Cowboys fan, let me know what you think. If you're a Packers fan as well, I'm sure you guys are rejoicing. Didn't even talk about them too much in this video, but they're absolutely contenders now. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you did, and I'll see you all in the next one.